Amy from 1,000 Pounds Sisters comes to a new realization. One well-known character from the reality show 1,000 Pounds, Amy Holzman. In the end, Sisters has decided to file for divorce from her ex-husband, Michael Holzman. Although their relationship has been turbulent for a long time, Amy is completely crushed by a recent incident. The fact that Michael skipped her youngest son's birthday celebration depresses Amy. "I no longer wish to be with a man who cannot accept my child," she declares with pride. Amy is said to be in a new love relationship at the moment. Despite not talking about her new relationship in public, rumors suggest that she has met someone who shows love and respect for Amy's kids. Admirers want Amy to be happy as she starts a new chapter in her life and to build a successful future for herself and her kids. The renowned star of 1,000 Pounds Sisters, Amy Holzman, has finally reached a turning point in her life after years of emotional ups and downs. Amy did not make the decision lightly, but after coming to a harsh revelation, she decided to formally end her marriage to Michael Holzman. Michael's absence from their youngest son's birthday celebration served as the last provocation. Amy had spent a lot of time getting ready for little Glenn's important event. In an effort to make her son happy, the celebration included cake, balloons, and decorations featuring his favorite cartoon characters. Nevertheless, Michael did not show up. No conversation. No exchange of messages. Nothing. Amy eagerly waited for him to arrive, frequently staring at the door. The door was still closed, though. "As I looked at my son, I understood that I needed to be stronger for him," Amy said with tears in her eyes during a confessional interview. "A man who cannot recognize his own children is not someone I can relate to." Prior to this, close friends and relatives had seen the growing distance between the former spouses. Michael had become increasingly aloof and distant from Amy and the kids. Up until that birthday party, which was the final blow, Amy had constantly worked to keep the family together. Amy realized she deserved more at that very moment. In the weeks that followed, word spread around Kentucky that Amy had found a new love interest in the form of a kind man named Jesse, who happened to know Amy at a community function and was a mutual friend. He was not ostentatious. He didn't care about being famous. Amy was drawn to a straightforward but unusual quality. He paid attention. Despite the fact that Amy has not made any public disclosures, many close to her claim that she has recently developed a unique aura. Jesse has been seen interacting with Glenn and Gage, Amy's sons, helping them with their food and playing games in the park. According to an insider, Amy seems truly at peace for the first time in years. Amy's sister Tammy, who is also her most trusted confidant, has been there for her through the whole event. Amy has faced a lot of difficulties. In a phone interview, Tammy said she deserves someone who elevates her, not diminishes her. She acknowledges that Jesse is different, calmer, kind, and extremely courteous. According to the teaser for the next season of 1,000 Pounds Sisters, viewers will see how Amy changes. In addition to seeing her as a woman recovering from emotional turmoil, viewers will see her as a mother standing up for her kids, a sister displaying her fortitude, and possibly a woman finding her capacity for love. Amy spoke thoughtfully to the camera one evening while standing in the backyard, her son's laughter echoing in the background and the sun casting a golden glow over the landscape. "Your plans may not always come to pass in life, but sometimes unexpected routes lead to the most beautiful places." However, after seeing Amy Slayton's bruises, 1,000 LB Sisters fans voiced serious concerns. Is she okay? One cast member of 1,000 LB Sisters, Amy Slayton, has started to worry her fans. Since her divorce from Michael Holzman, she has had several difficulties. Her admirers are worried about her general well-being because of the decline in her mental health. In 2020, Amy and her sister Tammy Slayton appeared for the first time on TLC's well-liked show 1,000 Sisters. When Amy first appeared on the show, she weighed over 400 pounds and acknowledged that she would need to lose weight in order to become pregnant. She needed to lose weight because her only goal was to start a family with her spouse. She lost a lot of weight after undergoing bariatric surgery. After their divorce, Amy has been concentrating on bettering herself. She and her ex-husband have 2 sons together. Despite people scrutinizing her life on social media, her sons are happy and healthy. The media is compelled to inquire about the various wounds on her body. Let's examine Amy's condition and prospects. More precisely, the reasons behind these bruises. This past week, there was a Reddit discussion on Amy's health. Amy and her sister's family portrait was released. Redditors noticed that Amy had strange marks all over her body after looking at the picture more closely. This made them wonder about her circumstances and whether her health is a serious problem. Amy's leg was severely bruised, reaching halfway up. Because of the severe bruises, supporters were worried about her safety and well-being. Some have noted that people can bruise easily, which might be the case with Amy. However, others suggested that she might be dealing with serious health problems, which could explain the bruises. As soon as they saw this picture, Reddit users shared their thoughts about Amy's health. She may be a Namike user with a medical issue that could cause these bruises, according to a Redditor. She may be on blood thinners, which could cause her to bruise easily, according to a fan. Someone else said, the bruise is likely a result of her children physically assaulting her during their tantrums. Not as much is known at this time about what caused Amy's severe bruises. Her fans are happy that she looks to be enjoying life lately and are hopeful that she will start to seem more lively. Nevertheless, the Slayton family home was bathed in a golden glow as the morning sun rose over the Kentucky hills. The house's interior was exceptionally quiet. There were no jesting, clattering utensils, or cameras from reality TV. Today wasn't just another event. It was that particular day. Chris Combs was sitting on the side of his bed, trembling a little as he put on his sneakers, something he hadn't done easily in years. He had struggled with his weight for months, experiencing pain, disappointments, and psychological barriers. He finally had his long-awaited bariatric surgery scheduled for today. Amy and Tammy, his sisters, were already awake and bustling around the kitchen. Amy was setting up a small cooler filled with bottled water and wholesome snacks. Unexpectedly alert, Tammy was going over the hospital records and medication list. "Are you prepared, brother?" Amy asked, her voice full of nervous passion. Chris came into the living room wearing sweatpants and a loose-fitting t-shirt that said Beast Mode Activated. He smiled and said, "I am as prepared as I will ever be. Let's move this along quickly so I can see my toes again." It was a peaceful drive to Lexington General Hospital. Everyone was deeply engaged in introspection. Amy thought back to Chris's noteworthy advancements. He had been the family's pillar, constantly pushing her and Tammy to improve their health. But underlying his lightheartedness and amusing manner was a man going through a personal crisis. Tammy, who was sitting calmly next to him, reached out and took his hand. Nothing just a grab, silence. It was rare but incredibly important. Everyone knew the dangers. However, they understood that this signified Chris's chance for a new beginning. The waiting area smells of stale coffee and antiseptic. Tammy and Amy sat beside each other, their eyes focused on the pair of doors that Chris had disappeared through an hour before. When Dr. Smith visited earlier, he informed them that everything was going well. The unease, however, continued. Amy's mind was filled with memories of family get-togethers, hospital stays, and many difficult conversations. She considered Chris's tenacity, especially in the face of Tammy's return to harmful habits and her own difficulties as a new mother. A couple of hours passed. Finally, a nurse showed up. "How is the family of Chris Combs doing?" Tammy and Amy jumped up. "After undergoing surgery, he is recuperating well. He asks that you both be present." Chris's words was muffled by the sedative, and he looked calm but pale. He ate weakly, saying, "You all ought to have brought me some pudding." With tears running down her cheeks, Amy burst out laughing. Tammy grinned while making an expression of frustration. "You did it, Chris," Amy remarked. "Yes, you have succeeded." Chris had started gardening again, changed his diet, and walked more when he got home. He kept a careful journal in which he documented his improvement, steadfast in sticking to his course. Amy started cooking meals for the two of them while Tammy walked with him in her wheelchair. For once, the whole family was working together as a cohesive unit. Chris realized that it wouldn't be easy. The operation was only the first step. He did, however, have hope. For the first time in years, his strength, perseverance, and the love that kept him going were all visible in the mirror in addition to his physical attributes. Chris was seated facing the camera in the traditional gray couch. His eyes gleamed as he said, "I did not undertake this solely for my own benefit. I did this for my grandchildren, Amy, Tammy, and that voice inside of me that keeps telling me how valuable I am. Even though I still have a long way to go, I will keep moving forward. Darling, this is just the beginning." The heat in Kentucky, however, was unbearable and almost as heavy as the silence that surrounded the Slayton home. Amy Slayton was sitting on the porch, sweating profusely and breathing quickly and heavily. Her knuckles were white as she held a partially filled bottle of Diet Coke in one hand. Tammy's voice echoed loudly, demandingly, and angrily throughout the house. What started off as a minor argument over lunch, whether to order pizza or stick to their new, healthier routine, had grown into a more serious one. Prior wounds reopened. Like daggers, unsaid words flew across the room. "Maybe we wouldn't be in this situation if you didn't try to take charge of everything." With fire in her eyes, Tammy yelled. Amy became agitated. "Perhaps if you tried for once, I wouldn't have to handle everything on your behalf." Amy didn't often raise her voice like this. She usually made an effort to remain calm, acting as the pair's mediator. Today, though, the dam has broken. The porch light above flickered as she hurried out of the house and slammed the door shut. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Finally, clinging to the railing for support, Tammy hobbled out. Her face, which had flushed from screaming, suddenly looked confused and possibly even guilty. She said, "Amy," softer than she had expected. "I didn't mean to. I didn't think you would get so upset." Amy chose not to turn around. "Tammy, you didn't understand. I have been making an effort to keep this family together. I am weary. Now I have to think about Gage. You just keep your distance from me." Tammy looked down. "I admit that I've been challenging to control." That would be a huge understatement. Amy shot back, then quickly lowered her voice. "However, I comprehend. You're hurt. You're scared. And so am I. Nevertheless, we cannot carry on fighting in this way." Tammy grimaced a little when she sat down on the front step. "I want for a friendship that existed before the show, before things got so rowdy." In the end, Amy looked at her. Her eyes were glassy and filled with a mixture of love, exhaustion, and agony. "I also yearn for that," she said. The two sisters didn't say anything for a long time since their bond was too strong to argue. The trees were bathed in a golden glow as the sun began to set behind them. At that moment, they were not reality television personalities. They weren't fighters. They were just sisters, flawed, exhausted, but nonetheless holding each other up, even if only tenuously. Nevertheless, Tammy Slayton received a call that would significantly change her life on a somber, rainy afternoon in Dixon, Kentucky. Her existence. The person on the other end of the line was trembling. Jolene was the sister of Caleb. "Tammy, I'm sorry. It was this morning that Caleb expired." Tammy froze. The room's mood vanished. Her legs gave way under her, her chest tightened, and her heart quickened. Uncontrollable sobbing erupted from her throat as she collapsed into the couch, her phone slipping from her fingers. Amy hurried in from the kitchen where she had been making lunch for her kids. "What inspired Tammy? What's wrong?" she asked, startled. But Tammy found it difficult to put her ideas into words. "He is gone, Caleb." As they both kept crying, Amy knelt next to her and tightly hugged her sister. This wasn't just melancholy. It was an irreparable loss of the soul. Tammy struggled with addiction, depression, and almost fatal situations for years. Caleb, though, had been her ray of hope. In rehabilitation, they came into contact with one another. Tammy was always made to grin by Caleb's mild yet funny quips, which made her smile even during her darkest hours. Through their shared sorrow and desire for progress, they were able to connect. In spite of everything, love blossomed in that unlikely place. They had a modest but hopeful wedding. Tammy had previously questioned her deservingness of love, but Caleb changed her mind. He made her believe in herself. She laughed again at his words. When she felt like she was about to crumble, he took her hand. He had now left a few months later. The days that followed his death were hazy. Tammy refused to eat anything. She didn't say much. Her family watched her withdraw inward, fearing that this loss might be too much to handle. Amy held a picture of Tammy and Caleb on their wedding day as she sat next to Tammy in the living room one evening. "Remember that day?" Amy asked softly. "How happy were you?" Tammy looked at the picture for a long time before giving in. "He made me feel alive," Tammy whispered, "as though I were valuable. I am uncertain how to exist in his absence." Amy said, "You need not forget him. But on his behalf, one must persevere. He loved you too much to wish for your resignation right now." As Tammy looked at her sister, she started crying again. However, her eyes were filled with more emotion this time. Resolve might be put back together. Salutations, valued audience members. Greetings from my channel.